Good afternoon. My name is Tones. I'm here with
The Biz. Good afternoon. How's it going?
AKA the Human Save Point.
The human save point.
Keeping it light.
fair play.
Today, this is our second episode. It's very, very exciting.
Yes, very cool.
We got some really, really kind feedback for the last one. A few changes to make, but we're going to make them as we go.
Oh yeah, we'll run.
Because it's fun.
Yeah, it is fun, and like Tones said, we like to, keep it fun, keep it light, keep it, jovial, and
Toesy.
Toesy on the toesy. Keep it on the toesy, and I hope you guys enjoy.
So, last time we got a bit of feedback before we kind of go into it. The last time we got a bit of feedback saying, basically, we didn't really give any background on the kind of games that we like to play, and so I thought we'd kind of open with that. And what kind of games do you like to play? Do you have a genre of game, or do you have like a kind of thing where you're like, I'm a beat 'em up guy? Because I know that you're a big Street Fighter fan.
Yes,
that's your jam.
Yeah, warts and all.
So and obviously you're into your horror. So would you say that you're a specific genre type player?
I think as I've gotten older with gaming, because when you're younger, you try a lot of different things. You dip your toes in a lot of different pools.
Yeah. But
I think as I got older, as I aged with gaming, I realized what I gravitate towards. So yes, I am a beat 'em up fan, but more sort of zoned in than that. I'm a huge Street Fighter fan. I mean, I've been playing Street Fighter since the Street Fighter 2 on the Super Nintendo, which was somewhere in the 90s. And yeah, I've been following it ever since, and currently now on and off playing Street Fighter 5. I won't go too much into that yet. Yeah. But yeah, no, I am a beat 'em up fan, and obviously I like other genres as well.
But do you have what else do you play?
I mean, as Tone said, I do like my horror. I like my horror in almost any form it comes in. I'm a huge advocate of horror films. So yeah, it was natural for me to kind of gravitate towards horror gaming. I do love horror gaming. So when we're talking about things like Resident Evil, nearly all of the Resident Evil games I've played. I don't think I've done 5 and 6.
You're okay. You're fine.
Am I okay with that?
Yeah, you're fine.
Yep. Okay.
6 especially. 6 is woof.
But yeah, I mean, I know it's still Capcom, but I'm a huge fan of those games. The most recent horror one I played was the Blair Witch.
Oh, that's right. You
did
play that.
Yeah, it was a what's the term that you use? It's a walking sim. Yeah, it's like a walking sim, and
explain. How would you explain it in a short sentence? What a walking sim is?
Oh gosh,
without it being like, because obviously you say it's a walking simulator, but at the same time it's like, that sounds dead boring.
Yeah.
But it's obviously not.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's it's first person. And you are very much in the story. So you are looking through the eyes of the person, and you're interacting with all of the story points. Not so much unlike other first person games that you've played. I mean, I don't know if you've ever played what was it? Everybody's Gone to the Rapture.
That was a big one. And Gone Home as well, wasn't it?
And Gone Home was a really good one.
Yeah. But it's more about there's no combat. Usually there's no combat.
No, there's no combat. It's just you in the environment, interacting with the environment, and piecing the story together from bits that you find. That's how I define a walking sim. Yeah. I mean, it was probably too many sentences, but
no. But so, all right, cool. No, so that's kind of the stuff that you're into.
Yeah.
What are you playing at the moment other than Final Fantasy, as we all know?
Oh gosh, I mean, I'm getting towards the end of Final Fantasy. I feel chapter 13 now, but I am playing Death Stranding as well,
which is
I mean. That's
just splitting the audience straight down the middle.
Yeah, it's hugely divisive. It's a Hideo Kojima game. Came out 2019.
Yeah. That's a review you got to do when you're done.
Yeah. I think that's a discussion we have once I'm actually done with it. I like what Hideo Kojima has introduced in terms of his, the mythology that he's created and the ideology that he's tried to create as well. It is interesting, but I can't lie. It does feel like a massive side quest game.
Side quest the game.
It feels
side
like
quest the game, the movie.
Side quest the game, the movie. It does feel like, without giving too much away. But the environments are really, really nice. They're fully realized environments. The vehicles that you come across and stuff like that, without giving too much away. It's nice to look at.
Okay.
Before that, I was playing Days Gone.
Well, that's another one we got to come back to.
That's another one
because we don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole with this current stuff.
But you can probably get an idea of the kind of games that I do like to gravitate towards.
Worldy,
so I do like my open worldy, AAAs. Before Days Gone, I finished the DLCs to Horizon Zero Dawn.
Huge. Which
were just fascinating. I mean, that game by itself is just fascinating, regardless of the DLCs. Red Dead Redemption 2, I did before that. It's a beautiful looking game, and there are some really spot on characters in there. But that's gonna need a really dissecty sort of discussion in order to.
Well, let's bring it back. Bring it back. And be like. So for me personally, I'm a massive indie game fan. I love playing, the smaller games. I'm a diehard wannabe beat 'em up fan.
Wannabe?
Yeah, like I always feel like it's the you're the kid that goes up to everyone playing football and you're like, can I play? And they're like, I don't know, mate, it's not my ball. It's like you're constantly
ask him,
and you're like, I don't know if I'm good enough to play the game. I kind of have to just I'm playing it and I win a couple matches, but I lose a lot of matches. But I just have a good time doing it.
Right.
So that's when I say I wanna be.
Yeah.
And then. I like I said, indie games. I do play AAA. I mean, the last game I played, I'm actually about to start playing The Evil Within 2.
Oh, wow.
So that's my next one. I enjoyed the first 2/3 of Evil Within.
The first 2/3? I
got really upset with the ending. It just felt like, fuck it, we'll just finish it.
Wow.
Or the boss was clapping his hands going, all right, wrap it up, people.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
I've still yet to actually start that one.
Okay. But that's good fun, and I finished Final Fantasy. I'm just kind of going around wrapping up a few little loose ends in that. But again, that spoiler discussion will be coming guaranteed properly soon. So moving forward, recently I was very, very lucky to get into the closed beta for Guilty Gear Strive.
Yes.
I am a massive Arc System Works fan. They're the guys that developed Guilty Gear, the Guilty Gear series. I'm a fan of the XR, which was previous. They've made Dragon Ball Fighters.
Yep.
Which we kind of fell out of love with because they just kept bringing out different styles of Goku.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, it did turn into it, like you say. It was just many, many variations of the same character. I felt, which almost takes it into that too many Shotos realm for fighting games without delving too much into it. So yeah, it's a beautiful looking game.
Oh man.
And as far as it's Dragon Ball, for crying out loud. So as far as taking something like that and putting it into a fully visually realized beat 'em up, it's flawless. It looks absolutely flawless, but unfortunately
I fell out of love with it.
Yeah.
But they've just recently released Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, which was based. I think
never played any of those.
No, neither. It looks good. It's not for me, but again, Arc System Works have a very, very beautiful aesthetic, and getting into Guilty Gear again with the music and the look and everything, it was amazing. And the reason of today's discussion I thought would be cool is you said something when you were playing the closed beta.
Oh gosh, what did I say?
You turn around.
What have I done now?
It could be considered controversial, but at the same time, it did trigger a conversation in my head, which when you turned around and said, "This already looks better than Street Fighter 6." Which I thought was hilarious because it's not even out yet. So I was like, where did the not animos, that's the wrong word. Where did the disappointment in Capcom and Street Fighter come? But before you answer that, here's a fun little fact for you that came up today.
Well, okay, what's that?
So, as we've said already, Street Fighter 5 is a beat 'em up that came out in 2016, in February of 2016. So
it's that old now, Jesus.
You've been playing it for a long, long time.
I have.
And it came out.
I did divorce it for a while.
Yeah, you guys
did.
broke up. You weren't talking
we broke
for a
up.
while.
I fully uninstalled everything. I wiped it clean from all of my memories.
But previously, your main character is M. Bison.
Yes, he is.
So, on the a couple of days ago, on Friday, the 17th of April, was actually M. Bison's birthday.
Holy shit! No way. Really?
So I thought you would really enjoy hearing that because
wow, that's really cool.
It's his birthday, and so happy birthday, M. Bison!
Happy birthday to my boy M. Bizzle. Yeah.
So I thought you'd find that an interesting.
You've done me proud, big man. You've done me proud.
For us to have a, you know, we'd be good to open up on a birthday fact.
That's amazing. I'm
17th
I'm truly
of April,
stoked by that.
The 17th of April was M. Bison's birthday.
Excellent.
So we give him big love to that.
Big love. Big love.
In other news, we were talking about Street Fighter, and I think that's going to be the kind of the hub that we're going to be floating around today as games as a service.
Right.
And Street Fighter 5 is the first, I think, rendition or the first edition of a Street Fighter game that is a live service game.
Yes.
And to people that don't know what live service or games as a service is, I went to, obviously, Wikipedia, and I've got some stuff off Reddit as well. But the main thing is, from Wikipedia, it says, games as a service are ways to monetize video games either after their initial sale or to support a free-to-play model.
Right.
Games released under the GAAS model typically receive a long or indefinite stream of monetized new content over time to encourage players to continue paying to support the game.
Right.
That's what Wikipedia said.
Okay.
And basically, you know, we had a little discussion the other day and we were ranting about the problem with live service gaming. And it just seems like it's just not a popular system.
It's not, no.
And I had some notes somewhere. Basically, it was a psychological trap to make people feel like they're missing out. So they have to constantly log in for daily bonuses or, you know, they have to do something to be like, I need to unlock that. I need to unlock this.
Yeah.
And even though in 2017, you know, the CFO of EA even turned around and said, you know, people are buying less games. They're playing games for longer, but they're buying less.
Yes.
So his mentality was like, you know, it makes more sense if you just give us that excess money.
Right.
If you're not going to buy more, if you're not buying more games, that means you've got more money to give to us.
Yeah, it means you're saving money. So just give us some of that saved money.
Right.
Yeah.
And the problem is now,
which is cheeky.
You know, which is just shit. The problem is now is that things like Street Fighter take a hit because everybody's looking at the next guy going, oh, that guy, well, if they're doing that and they're making money, what, COD make it, what, Call of Duty made a bit?
Yeah.
All right, we're changing our, like, do you know what I mean? We're changing it. We're
changing our entire business model now. This is what we're doing.
So you know more about this than I do. So
I do.
I want you to discuss this. Like Street Fighter 5 came out, like I said, came out in February of 2016 and it got a lot of trouble.
It did get a lot of trouble.
3.6 on the Metacritic scale. Ouch. Characters weren't sold with their stages. The DLC was overpriced. Just as there was long load times, allegedly. Apparently, there was some of that stuff.
I mean, there are still long load times. If you want to, if you want to talk about that.
So, what did you feel was initially wrong with Street Fighter 5 as a fan first? And then did it feel like there was a business shift, like they were trying to take your money as opposed to trying to entertain?
Here's the thing. As far as me and Street Fighter 5 is concerned, because I didn't play a huge amount of Street Fighter 4, because I largely missed out on that era of gaming because I didn't have a console, but I'd play Street Fighter 4 on other people's consoles.
Yeah.
And then that was that, and then Street Fighter 5 was coming in, I was getting really excited for it, and then it dropped, and I was super happy for it. I was like, right, this is great, you know, I get to get back into Street Fighter, But then I remember like a couple of weeks in or a few weeks in, you know, it really started to hit home for me that it was a basic menu system. You know, it was very, very, for lack of a better term, vanilla. There was nothing to it as such. There was no charm to it. There was nothing to say that, oh, you know, let me explore what this part of the menu means or what happens if I go in there. It was just very kind of bare bones.
Is that different from something where it's like, we don't want you spending too much time in menus, we'd rather you play the game? Or did it just feel like a lazy design?
It felt very much like a lazy design to me. And I think because because it's Street Fighter 5 and Capcom know that this is a household name and people will buy it and people will play it. So I couldn't help but feel that there was this sort of attitude whereby they thought to themselves, well, we can get away with doing as minimal as possible and just release it.
Yeah.
And then we can update it, air quotes, periodically, air quotes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like, they absolutely got away with it. They did get away with it because, it still has a player base. But, gradually over time, people, you go onto Facebook groups and, Instagram groups and stuff like that, and people talk more and more about what's wrong with the game. Now, like
right.
much more now than they ever used to. It started trickling in about, I would say, probably about 6 months into its release, or at least I started noticing it anyway. And since then, it's become more of a constant discussion with the, with the lack of variety and, the character choices and the input choices, which was a big pet peeve for me.
Input choices?
Yeah, so...
Is that like dial a combo?
Yeah.
Is that what that was? What was the character's name?
His name was Ed, I believe.
Yeah.
His name was Ed.
And everyone was calling him dial a combo.
He was called dial a combo because it was literally, you weren't using your QCFs, your quarter circle forwards, or your dragon punches or anything like that to pull out a special move. You were just pressing the hit buttons in succession, in sequence.
Right.
There were no kind of joystick movements or anything like that.
Right.
And for me, it's a shame because he seems like an interesting character, but the choices they made with him as far as the inputs were concerned made him very, very... It seemed too experimental. Okay. Because before and since in that roster, there's been no other character like that has had those kind of input choices made, that's had those kind of decisive input designs. There hasn't been any, and I think that's because they knew that it was a poor choice. Soon after that character came out, this is where your thing came from, there were people calling him dial a combo.
Dial a combo.
It was literally like, you're dialing a telephone pad. It was a dial a combo thing.
Yeah.
But that wasn't even my main pet peeve. Before I got onto using my boy M. Bison, classics, I was using Nikali, who was the poster child for this release.
His first appearance is in Street Fighter 5.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, yeah,
fine.
I hope I haven't gotten that wrong, but so as far as I know, it was Street Fighter 5. So I was using Nikali. And he was my main character. My alternate main was Nash, or Charlie Nash.
Yeah.
And I thought Nikali was great, but then I think on their first or second update, they decided to change an input for one of his moves. Now, that kind of disrupted my flow of gameplay because obviously any Street Fighter fan will know once you've got your main character and you've got your groove of how you want to work with that character in terms of doing your block strings and doing your combos and this, that, and the third, the inputs are in place. They're there. They're bolted. Yeah. So when someone comes along and says, no, we want to change that from the quarter circle forward to, let's do a quarter circle back instead or something like that.
Yeah.
It disrupted the whole... it seems so minute, but
it's not. Like, if they add moves, I find like if they were adding moves going, hey, your character can now do this, and it's a new move and it's a new input, I get it. But if you spent, we're talking 2016, it's 2020, man. Like, and they're making changes. I've got a few of the things they said here was halfway through the life cycle, they changed the currency value.
Yes, apparently they did. Yeah.
And now, and then it's, like to go from, if you want to earn a costume or an outfit, you would need fight money, which you earn in game.
Yeah.
So by fighting and hitting challenges, and then it got so hard and the grind was so tough on purpose to kind of force you to buy it with real money. And what was really interesting is I read somewhere that it was saying that the people were thinking that the characters were being released with new costumes. That would then make you go, well, I don't want this, I want the old one. And you would either have to grind like a crazy person or buy it.
Yeah.
And that's by design. It's not like, you've got the classic costumes and you can do that.
Yeah.
So everything started... Did you think, because you played it a lot more than me,
right?
did you think that everything started to feel like they're trying to get your money? They like everything was kind of like I'd rather earn fight money, but I'm doing this. It's taking me 4 times as long.
Yeah.
Then I'm just going. It would be so much easier if I just dropped the $5. Bought that character or that outfit or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it did begin to feel, and this is where I got kind of staunch about it. It did begin to feel I was being railroaded into dropping a quick $5 here and there.
Yeah.
For this character or this character or that costume or that costume.
Yeah.
And because I'm an old school Street Fighter player.
Yeah.
I'm an old school games player.
Yeah,
right?
well, yeah, you're both, right?
Exactly. So I like to I like to grind because I like to earn my stripes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I like to earn my rewards, and that's very much what gaming is for me. If you make it too easy for me, or not to say too easy, but if you just give me a way out whereby I can drop a few pounds, it kind of takes away from the experience.
Yeah.
Me. And also it makes it feel as though it's a bit too, I don't want to use the word corporate, but it makes it seem a bit more money grabbing in a sense.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's that kind of, yeah, it does feel more money grabbing. It doesn't feel like it was made by people that are in love with Street Fighter. It feels like it was made by Suits Upstairs.
It does feel like it was made by Suits. Yeah.
How can we make as much money as possible? And so, talking about Suits Upstairs, there was some news that came from videogamer.com which said that the face of Street Fighter, which is Yoshinori Ono, he was the guy that issued an apology to the fans for the matchmaking issues. Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember that. Was that when he came out with a Blanca on stage or something like that?
Something like that.
Or was that something else?
Yeah. And so a bit of news dropped recently that says Ono will no longer produce Street Fighter as of the 1st of April.
Wow.
And will become the executive producer for esports. Whether that's true or not, but that's what I've read,
Interesting.
All of this stuff has been triggered by the fact that we've started hearing rumblings of Street Fighter 6.
Right. Yeah.
Even though he dropped a tweet recently, Yoshinori Ono. Hopefully I'm not butchering that. He dropped a tweet because Boss Logic. Do you know Boss Logic?
I don't.
He's a guy on Instagram that does really, really great kind of artwork for film, and he takes these really great, makes these really great artwork. And he did a Street Fighter 6 thing, which was a Dragon Punch that resembled a 6.
Oh, really?
And Ono saw it and said, "Wow, I feel honored that you chose Street Fighter for your illustration gemstone. However, this is too early, isn't it? Could you please wait for 10 years, question mark."
10 years?
Now, we all know.
And when was that tweet? I'm sorry?
That tweet was... I'm going to have to find it. But it wasn't long ago.
I mean, if there is any ring of truth to that statement...
I mean, yeah, look,
I mean, that just says to me they're going to try and wring out Street Fighter 5 for as much...
Yeah, and no one turned around and went, "Yeah, we're gonna have more." It was just like, oh shit, because they've only just released, Gil and I can't find it.
Wow, 10 years. I could.
It wasn't that long ago.
I'm sure he must have been joking. I don't. Think...
Yeah, 100%. He's not. Especially if he's leaving.
Yeah. We'll get Street Fighter 6 probably in about 2 or 3 years.
You think so?
Yeah, I do, because. By that time, let's say it's 2 years. By that time, it would already have been 6 years, roughly, since its previous release, since Street Fighter 5. Right?
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
So I think...
I can't find that tweet. But yeah, he basically put that up and everyone was like, oh my god. But he's leaving. And that was quite recent news, and he's... going to be an exec producer of esports, so maybe we'll see some big changes.
I mean, hopefully we will, but I feel as though with Street Fighter it has left quite a sour taste in people's mouths. I mean, I've got personal friends of mine that I was in WhatsApp groups with, and we were battling each other on this game. And then we both kind of fell off from it round about the same time because of the same sort of things that were happening. It just seemed a bit too, corporate. It seemed a bit too, there just wasn't enough there for the fans, for the players.
Do you think that with the competition being as it is, like we said before, with Arc System Works doing Guilty Gear Strive and Mortal Kombat 6, and then eventually KOF is going to come out, the new King of Fighters, I love King of Fighters.
King of Fighters is great. I mean, that was my second favorite. Beat 'em up
back in the day, and like it was really fun. And like Guilty Gear, I just love the aesthetics and the music. It was just made by Metalheads for him. I think it's great.
Absolutely stunning game.
So, do you think Capcom are kind of just going, well, it's Street Fighter, innit? People will buy it because.
Yeah, I do feel that, and it comes across. It's arrogant. It is very, very arrogant, and it's a shame that it's gotten to this point where they look at their fans like that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Obviously, there are the esports, so you've got your top tier competition players, and when Street Fighter V dropped, there was small rumblings of talk about how. Street Fighter V, all of the changes that were being implemented and stuff like that, with all the buffs and nerfs and input changes, were more geared towards the top tier players who were in the competition. Which, I mean, no disrespect to those guys. I mean, they're fascinating players and
it's fun to watch.
Yeah, it is fun to watch. And geez, I couldn't go up against those guys. But at the same time, your fan base is bigger than those esports players. Yeah, like you've got a worldwide fan base. Yeah, that have been with this game for as long as they can remember. So you kind of have to look out for your people in that respect.
And I feel it is interesting, and I'm not talking about just about Street Fighter now. I mean, a lot of games are just coming out basic and then going, but we'll just update it as we go, and it's like you can't be doing that.
You can't do that. It's very, very cheeky,
and you're paying for the upgrade. So give us £50.
Yeah.
£55, sometimes 60. Yeah. And we'll give you a £25 game. Yeah. And then if you keep chucking us £5 here and there for cosmetics and new characters and guns and whatever else, so it's like it's going up, then it'll be a good game in the end. And you look at Fallout 76. You look at that
game was in a lot of trouble, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then halfway through they were like, well, if you give us $100, it'll be you get VIP. And it's like, well, why don't you fix the game first? And hopefully their Wastelanders thing will be their expansion will be good. But I don't. When it's a free to play game like Apex or something like that, and they're like, hey, here's the game for free. If you can grind away and have that. Yeah. But if you want to buy this gun or you want to buy that outfit for a $5, I kind of get it because you've got the game for free.
And that makes sense. And you're legitimately paying money to support a game that's already full. And if they want to, in terms of a full-fledged game, and they want to design more things for it, they want to, put more characters and put more guns and put more costumes. So if you feel like that you're supporting that, then I'm fine. I could do that.
I did that with, they released their 2016 game and they were like, hey, chuck us £20. Yeah. Here's what we've got. Yeah. People would be like, all right. Yeah. I feel like people would have been like, okay, the netcode's not great.
The netcode.
But fair enough. And then when new characters come out, we're not going to feel like you're taking our money.
Exactly.
Because you look at the expansions, not the expansions, even the upgrades. Yeah. The arcade edition came out in 2018, a year later, and that had everything that came out up to that point. And then in 2020, they released the Champion Edition, which was a £20 upgrade.
Which is something that they said they would never do as well. They said around about the beginning of its release that they weren't gonna release like different versions of the game as such. They were just gonna
build on that. Yeah, because then they released in 2020 in March. They released the Capcom Pro Tour Premier Pass, which was £16.
Oh my goodness!
And what was weird is that they started throwing up those ads for the Pro Tour in the loading bar.
Oh gosh!
And it was just this thing of like it just constantly felt like so. Yeah. The question I had that moving forward from that is. And this was something else that I saw on Reddit, and people were discussing was I think this does apply to a lot of games, and we're just using Street Fighter as an example for this because you know a lot about it. when did Street Fighter become more about unlocking or buying something within the game and less about playing it and improving yourself as a fighting game player?
Wow.
Because now it's kind of like I've got to go on Street Fighter and unlock that, or I've got to go and buy this, or you know, I want to look this way, as opposed to I'm going to be Chun-Li, I'm going to go in and rank up, and it shouldn't have to cost me anything, or I'm not looking to unlock anything.
Yeah.
When did that happen? Was that Street Fighter 5? Was that? Did you feel that from the second it came out, or?
No, I didn't feel that. I didn't feel that right at the beginning, like right at the second that it came out. But over time, it did, and this was a discussion that I had with a mate of mine as well, who's very, very good at it, and you know, we battled. But he said to me, it kind of feels a bit like a chore now. It kind of feels like I'm going to work and not getting anywhere, which is kind of a big statement.
Wow.
Because it means that somewhere along the line, the fun has been taken from it. You know, you almost go to it begrudgingly. I mean, even when I went back to it recently, because, you know, it's just like a long relationship, isn't it? It's just
on again, off again.
On again, off again. That is pretty much
she
me.
Sends me a text drunk. And
and I'm like, oh, babes.
Do you know what? You know, Street Fighter sends me the quick you up text, and I have to answer. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, it is very much that. But even when I went back to it recently, you know, it's not as if like, I mean, I missed it, but I wasn't super pumped to play it. There was a small part of me that felt like, oh man,
you're a fan, dude. That's okay.
Is it though?
Yeah, well, there's a difference between you're a fan and you give it a lot of wiggle room.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like, you want it to improve. You're not.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. You want it to improve. I mean, I don't imagine it's anything unlike being a fan of your favorite team, sort of thing. You know, when they have their peaks and troughs, but you stick through it. You stick through it.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
So in that sense, I can completely understand it. But it was strange to feel that, you know, when I was going back to it, there were all these other thoughts like, oh man, what's the netcode like? Or am I going to be dealing with like a shit ton of Shotos? Or what is this going to feel like?
Yeah.
You know, and it's a shame, man. It's a shame. But like I said, warts and all, it's been a part of me for a very long time. I will probably get Street Fighter 6.
Well, okay. So, I mean, yes. And even I'm like, God, I hope that the aesthetic of the style of it changes now. What would you hope to see in Street Fighter 6?
Right.
Oh, jeez. You just straightened his back.
Right.
Got real. Okay.
Right. What do I hope to see in Street Fighter 6? Well, as we discussed the other day, Street Fighter 5, in terms of its graphics, aesthetically, is not that far a leap from Street Fighter 4.
True.
So I would, if possible, I think a complete reanimation design. A complete...
What do you mean, ground up, completely different look?
Ground up, completely different look. Not unlike Dragon Ball Fighters or Grand Blue Fantasy or Guilty Gear. Something like that. Something that makes it seem a bit more...
unique.
And
I mean, it was a pretty unique look for Street Fighter. Street Fighter didn't look like anything else.
It doesn't look like anything else, but at the same time, it does look dated now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's common to say that it hasn't aged well.
It hasn't aged well, and like I said, it. When I look at Street Fighter 5 now, I still see remnants of Street Fighter 4 in there in terms of its look. So if you're thinking, if your mind is going back to Street Fighter 4, how long ago was that?
Oh man,
that was a long time ago.
Yeah,
now.
What, the release date?
Yeah, that was what, circa 10 years ago or something like that. Probably more.
It came out in 2008.
2008, so a little over 10 years ago.
Well, yeah,
thereabouts.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I'm looking at Street Fighter 5, but I'm thinking Street Fighter 4, then something's gone awry there. I think something's got a little bit awry there. So I think rebuilding it from the ground up, just give it a completely fresh look. Not like a lick of paint, to patch up the cracks in the wall or anything like that. Just rebuild it from the ground up, and I guarantee you there'll be so much love and appreciation for it.
I think
there would be.
It's just keep your business out of the games, man.
Keep the business out of the game.
We understand that it's a business. We understand that, Capcom are trying to make money. We understand that Arc Systems were trying to make money. We understand that EA trying to make money.
We better touch that.
But it becomes something else when it's like, hey, we made a good product. We hope you enjoy it, and everybody gives you their money. And we made an okay product. Give us your money anyway. And by the way, we chuck this bunch of stuff in. Oh, do you want it? Oh, you better pay us.
Yeah.
We, people aren't stupid, and it does. And we don't want to get into it where the second we open a game, there's an ad or
absolutely
money or season passes or anything like that. I get it. It's a future. It's a progression of business, but
I'll tell you when it got really peak for me, which is probably when I turned it off for a little while. That was probably the divorce.
Oh, wow.
Was when they started putting logos on the costume,
on the outfits.
But
then they put it over Guile's tattoo and stuff.
They put it over Guile's tattoo, and I was like, okay, fine, Guile's tattoo, cool. They put it. They put it on places on Dial Sim as well. They just put it in various places.
Didn't they put it on the skulls that were supposed to be like?
I think so, yeah. But what the worst one, I think the absolute crime that they committed was with Akuma.
On the back.
When he does his Raging Demon now, and you see the logo on the back, and it... Bro, I was like, I'm done with you. Give me everything. Give me my luggage. I'm leaving. Yeah, I'm taking the dog as well. We're done. I'm taking the kids.
So he does it, and it goes clang, and it's
and it's the logo on the back.
Oh, that's
the logo on the back. I was disgusted.
So for those of you who don't know, Akuma does I'm sure a lot of you do, but Akuma does this maneuver called Raging Demon, and at the end of it, he has what is it? What's the actual supposed to be? What's it supposed to be? There's a symbol on his back.
There's a symbol on it, yeah. Which is because the old one used to represent sky or heaven or something like that, and this one is something different now. Right.
So it's been iconic for years. And you feel free to YouTube it, Google it. And basically they changed it and put the Capcom Pro Tour.
They put the Capcom Pro Tour
logo over it instead.
Yes,
which completely kills the lore and kills the immersion of it.
It does. It completely. I mean,
how do you feel if there was like a Budweiser logo over it, or like?
Right.
I don't know, Sports Direct.
Yeah.
You'd just be like, what the, like, come on, man.
It was a big slap in the face. And I'm not a huge Akuma player, but I'm an Akuma fan. I like his whole lore. I like where he's come from. I like his journey as a character, even though, people had a problem with his look when he was first reintroduced. Into Street Fighter 5, people say, he looks like a lion and shit like that. But I thought it was a cool aesthetic choice for the progression of his character.
But that's just a creative decision, it doesn't make you go, what the, you're not trying to sell me something. It's just like, we've decided that Akuma's going to look like this.
Yeah, which was fine by me. But then when they slapped that logo on him after doing the Raging Demon, I was like, no, we're done.
Oh wow,
we're done.
Wow.
I'm finished with you.
It's getting pretty bad out. We're seeing it everywhere now. And it feels like a lot of developers now are saying, "Oh, but we don't have microtransactions." We're supposed to applaud that.
Yeah.
Or there's no shop. Like we're supposed to be like, "Oh, amazing! Really." It's like, no, that should be normal. Like,
yes, that should be normal.
Unless you're kind of a free to play game. But if you're charging full price and then after that you're adding things going, by the way, and by the end of the run you've paid 3 times the amount of the original game.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's a bit of a rip-off, and you hear about these developers who the big dogs, the suits, who are putting they're getting paid loads of money, but still laying off staff. And, and you can't help but be like, why is business in my game? We came to escape, and it just feels like it's like something out of They Live.
Yes,
yes, just the consume thing,
just to consume it.
And I just feel like some games get it right, and you see that. I mean, I will always reference The Witcher.
The Witcher, yeah.
And when they did expansions, it was like everyone turned around and went, take my money. It's cool because you gave us this.
Yeah, you gave us this much game and lore and story, as your first release.
Yeah, and then you were
It
like,
was
by
a
the way,
com-
we've got something extra if you want it.
Yeah, it was a complete package on its first release, and then they, did Blood and Wine and Hearts of Stone.
Yeah.
And rightly, people were like, well, yeah, I'll have that. Absolutely.
Yeah, and just take my money. Whereas
Yeah.
now it's like, oh, you pay £50 for a game. Yeah. Oh, well, if you want this stuff.
Mm.
I mean, I've heard about games where you couldn't get the ending without paying for it.
Oh my God.
And stuff like that. And it's just like, especially if you're gonna give us a game, because I heard about Street Fighter where a fan fixed the netcode.
Ah, yeah.
And then the developers fixed it back.
They rolled it back,
And it was just like, oh, God.
They rolled back to the last version.
I mean, how bad do you feel when they're like, right, a fan fixed?
Yeah.
What, a fan fixed our issue? Oh, you better put that back.
A fan showed up your entire company, your entire IP.
But there was an issue with it, because I know they were saying something about something to do with crossplay, and it didn't work. And then and it was kind of, if you didn't have the patch, it didn't work. So I get that there's holes, but the fact is, if a team or one guy did it, there's no excuse that massive company could do that.
Yeah, if only Tom, Dick, and Harry can just pick your netcode and fix part of it.
Yeah.
Then what are you guys doing?
Just keep your business. I mean, keep your business out of my games. Like, make a good product and we'll give you the money. Don't make an inferior product and expect us to pay for it. Like,
let me ask you a question.
Okay.
If this is a retreading, where do you think this all started, and when do you think this all started? This whole idea of releasing a very, I don't know, let's just say basic, for lack of a better term, very basic product, and then us having to pay more to get
the rest
of that product. Like, how did that start?
I don't know. I can't think of the game. I mean, I always want to just kind of look at Call of Duty.
Really?
Because that was when they started making billies. They started making
billions.
Yeah. And then everyone was like, right, what are they doing? And then it was actually Call of Duty that apparently directly influenced Resident Evil 6.
Ah, yes.
Because Capcom wanted that Call of Duty money.
Right.
And so they upped the action and made this very intense action-oriented game because they wanted that Call of Duty money.
Right.
And then it became less about, we're going to create, a truly artistic survival horror game. And it became, how can we slap a well-known title on something that's not relevant and make that money? And hopefully people will see the... I think it started with sports games.
Oh man, you reckon?
I think it started with sports games. I think it started with the loot box thing, with games like FIFA and NFL and NBA, where you're buying players and you're buying cards, and that kind of thing. Yeah. And I feel like those games make so much money.
They do.
And I feel like that bled across to you want that to look. And it stopped being earn this costume, earn this, earn that. It became pay for this, pay for that. And then you had the issue of pay to win.
Yes.
Which was a case of, if you pay X amount of money, you get the best guns, you get the best team, you get the best whatever. And then you're dominating people that are actually grinding to go through it.
That's it.
And I think that was the case with Star Wars Battlefront.
Yes.
With the loot boxes,
I think I heard that.
Surprise mechanics.
Surprise mechanics.
And then it just came, and it became a government thing.
It did.
They're talking about outlawing it because it was...
Yeah, it's a huge point of contention now, because it's like you say, it's you're just paying for those extra guns or things that you should be able to get just by grinding naturally through the game.
Yeah.
You're putting your hand in your pocket again. You've already paid £50 or £60 for the game anyway.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, and especially if it's a sports game where you're going to be paying exactly the same thing next year.
Yeah.
And you're going to get an updated roster that costs the developers nothing to do.
Exactly.
Or very little. And it's not like, they're going... I mean, I remember seeing FIFA or NFL where it was like the billboard still said the year before.
Oh, no.
Yeah, there was something to do
with
that. I'll try
and they released that?
They released it, and I'll try and find it, and I'll put it up. But it's
that's bad.
It was intense, man, and it was just like, this is the perfect example of like minimum work, maximum profit.
That's really, really bad.
But
it just goes to show what kind of people are at the top and what kind of decisions they're making.
Well, it's not made by the creatives, is it? I mean,
no.
the guy, for a fact that people aren't in there going, God, I'm going to make this game. They're not going to see any of the money, but I really hope that it makes a killing. It's like, no, it's people upstairs making these decisions. And
it's all about the shareholders now.
I'm hoping that it comes full circle. We're seeing some good stuff, and
we are.
It's coming back. God bless CD Projekt Red and Naughty Dog.
Yeah. Guerrilla Games as well.
Guerrilla Games.
Yeah.
And hopefully, Guilty Gear. I hope they keep that stuff to a minimum. But yeah, I just thought, I
mean, I do feel like with Guilty Gear, it looks and plays so nice that I feel like I could become a fan. I feel like I could go into
that's so exciting.
I could go into... But obviously...
Don't tease me
but
if you're going to play it.
But it's hard because obviously I've been married to Street Fighter for quite a long time, so it's like, well, I'm leaving my wife and my mistress.
No, you were divorced, bro. It's over.
You know what I mean? It's like,
I miss Nah, it's
leaving
time
the wife
to
for the
move
mistress.
on. It's time to move on.
But is it though?
You broke up, innit?
I've got hope.
I've got
a little bit.
Work it out.
We could work it out, Street Fighter. We could work it out. Let's just have a sit down. We'll go to a counsellor and we'll just talk about our issues. We'll really hash it out and maybe we can get somewhere.
I love how you're clinging to it, man. I'd dead that. But yes, on that note, I feel like that's a good time. Thank you guys so much for listening again and coming down for our second ever episode.
Doing good.
We're gonna keep going and hopefully we'll have a spoiler review for you
for Final Fantasy.
Yes,
I mean I am. I feel as though I'm getting towards the end of that now. I've just done some epic stuff.
Yeah,
and I'm in the teens. I'm in the teens chapters now, so that says to me, I'm getting somewhere.
Yeah, cool.
So we'll dissect that. Properly.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, we'll really go in for that.
I'm so excited. But yeah, that's cool. So thank you for coming down. Please, we're gonna start getting this thing out a bit more. So if you can either it's classic
subscribe, share,
all that stuff,
or do none of that.
Give us a follow
and just listen and have fun.
Yeah,
but tell your friends about it.
And that's it. And P.S. Antoine, man, cheers for the shout out to your brother. I appreciate that.
Oh God.
Anyway, thanks guys. Take it easy.
Thank you very much.